kids? Old Man Metal here, and welcome to the show. I've been having some computer problems lately, so unfortunately, today, because of my computer problems, there will not be any segments called Hot Chicks and Metal or any news. But I'm going to try and answer as many emails as I can because you people deserve it. You guys are great out there. You guys are emailing Old Man Metal saying, hey, jackass, what do you think you're doing? Clogging up my YouTube and taking up my bandwidth space with all your crap. And my answer to you is, go outside, you fat little bastard. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get on to the emails. And believe it or not, kids, I got some great ones. Some that even required a little thought. This one comes from a kid who calls himself Sea-Dog71. Yeah. I don't know what the hell that is. He writes, hey, Old Man Metal, you talk a lot about DRI, but what is your thought on the newer crossover band Municipal Waste? Well, Mr. Sea-Dog, this is a great question because Old Man Metal loves Municipal Waste. And Old Man Metal's got a little something he wants to tell you kids out there. Yes, I like thrash music. You know that. Back in the day, Old Man Metal was a big fan of punk rock music, like Fear, one of Old Man Metal's favorite punk artists. Dead Kennedys, The Germs, Black Flag. How can you not like Black Flag? Now, Old Man Metal's only got 10 minutes on YouTube, so he can't sit here and tell you kids, and I am Johnny Wikipedia, and I can tell you this is definitely crossover thrash, this is just a quarter crossover, and a quarter Jewish, and a quarter thrash. I don't know, okay? But I do know that back in the day, when bands like Metallica were doing Ride the Lightning, and Anthrax came out with Among the Living, kids knew what metal was, because it was either that or Dokken. Email number 2 comes from a guy who calls himself FY0, and that's CERO. And he writes, Dear Old Man Metal, how nice. What are the names of the songs which are played as an intro and at the beginning of the segment, Hot Chicks and Metal? Well, Mr. FY0, that is a great question. And in fact, because season 2 is coming to an end and Old Man Metal's got only one more episode planned, he's going to let you kids answer this question for him. What is the opening tune to the Old Man Metal show? Now, you longtime watchers of the show know that one of Old Man Metal's favorite unsigned bands is No Refund. Well, they are no longer together. May they rest in peace. But the lead singer, Tom Z, is still a good friend of Old Man Metal. And he wrote some lyrics to a song which Old Man Metal was going to use as his opening music. But Tom's been very busy with his jrcigarblogs.com thing that he's doing. But he came up with a great tune, and the lyrics were very funny. Old Man Metal hopes that one day he does finish it. But I understand that he's busy, and the dollars come first. But to answer your question, Mr. FY0, the intro to Hot Chicks and Metal is actually Old Man Metal. It's Old Man Metal going, yeah! And playing guitar and doing some drums. But if you kids know, and I think you do, what the opening tune is to the Old Man Metal show, yeah, type it in. Okay, question number 3. This email comes from a buddy of mine, another good buddy of mine on YouTube, who calls himself Tomb King 2. And he writes, hey, very old thrasher man, I was wondering what your opinions are on death metal. Now I think we've had this question before, but he asks what my other favorite genre of metal is besides thrash metal. That's a pretty good question, that's not bad. You know, I would have to say that death metal is one of my other favorite things to listen to besides thrash metal. Sorry, I had a senior moment there. Because death metal and thrash metal are kind of almost the same. I know I'm going to get some emails saying, hey, they're nothing the same. Blah, 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 blah. Well, Old Man Metal just wants to tell you kids that he likes the speed, and he likes the heaviness, and he likes the growling of the vocals, and sometimes the almost inaudibility of the vocals. I'm not really a huge fan of bands like Deicide. You know, they sing about Satan and all that stuff. Deicide drummer kicks freaking ass, though, let me tell you. You know, I told you kids already that I like punk growing up, so I do like that. If they ever come out with a polka metal, hey, Old Man Metal might be into that, you know? The polka beat and the death metal beat are almost one and the same. So here's a little tip for you kids out there who like to get up and, dance when you hear some kick-ass freaking metal tunes coming on. Next time you're at a wedding reception surrounded by old people and they play a polka song, get out on the dance floor and thrash it up. Old people will run for their lives. Now we come to one of the best email questions that Old Man Metal has ever been asked. I can remember back when Mr. Militarized asked about Dave Mustaine leaving Metallica, if that was good or not, back a few episodes, which I thought was a kick-ass question. But here I think we've topped it, kids. And it comes from our good friend, Mr. Hassett, from the United Kingdom. Right. And he writes, Old Man Metal, who would you put in a supergroup of metal, consisting of a vocalist, a guitarist, a bassist, and a drummer? I'm putting that question down and I'm walking away. That is a great question. But you know, if I give you people out there what I think would be a great supergroup, it might cause a little controversy. And what would music be without controversy? So here it is. Singers, only one person comes to mind. Warrell Dane from Nevermore. Now, when you say vocalists or singers, you have to include the fact that he is going to be writing the lyrics. Not necessarily, but you would hope that the guy that's singing the lyrics is the guy that's writing them. Only because I think that a lot of feeling can be brought out. Now, guitarist? No. Not singular, plural. Any good metal band that's going to play live, I think you got to have two guitar players. All right, there are some exceptions, so don't get right on the keyboard right away and start writing into me. Hey, Old Man Metal, jackass, what do you think you're talking about? There's this band, there's that band, there's the other band. Guitar player number one, without a doubt, Chris Broderick. Now, I know what you kids are saying. Old Man Metal, you're walking down the Nevermore path, why don't you just say Nevermore? Well, relax, okay? Guitar player two, geez, you can have just about anybody. Willie Adler's, Buckethead, but I like Jeff Waters from Annihilator. I think those two, Broderick and Jeff Waters, would be pretty damn awesome. Now, bass players. Now, here was a little touchy one that Old Man Metal had to sit and think. Bass players are tough. I'm thinking along metal lines, but Billy Sheehan, he's a pretty damn good bass player. Stu Hamm sits in with Satriani and G3 a lot when they go out, but that's not metal. We're talking metal here. So I'm going to surprise you kids by picking a guy who you probably don't ever think of. Harley Flanagan from the Cro-Mags. Yeah, now you could say, hey, Old Man Metal, you should pick Lemmy from Motorhead. Lemmy's pretty good. That would be a good one. But I only gave this about 3 minutes of thought. So, maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe Lemmy is a good choice. So Harley or Lemmy? I don't know. You kids make the call. And drummers is very tough too, because there's a lot of good drummers. I already told you that the drummer from Deicide kicks ass. There's Dave Lombardo from Slayer, and Grip. But Old Man Metal has heard this drummer once before, and that would be Justin DePinto from Pyrexia. Now, I know what you kids are saying. Old Man Metal, that guy plays like a machine gun, yeah. I'm thinking if he can play that, he can play almost anything. And while I'm thinking on the fly here, I'm going to slip a little Van Williams in on you from Nevermore. All right, enough said. Now listen, kids, Old Man Metal's got one more episode in him before he takes a little break. But I like your emails, and even more than that, I like your suggestions. I had a kid suggest to me, hey, why don't you go through the different genres of metal and maybe break it up a bit, because it'd probably take more than 10 freaking minutes. Good idea. Another kid told me, hey man, why don't you search YouTube while you're home retired doing absolutely freaking nothing and find some of your good guitar players and put them on. Yeah, I got one for you already. Ariel Bourne. He knows who he is, and soon you will too. Now listen, kids, the grass is getting a little long around the house here, and I gotta get outside and do a little yard work, or Mrs. Old Man Metal is gonna kick my freaking ass. Speaking of Mrs. Old Man Metal, I told her, I said, yeah, I'm working on season 2. I'm coming to the end, and season 3 will be, I'll have some clips of when I used to play back in the band back in the day. She looked at me and she said, who the hell do you think you are? And I said, hey baby, I am Old Man Metal.